Right Honorable Dr. Pius, the Deputy Secretary to the State Government, Professor Julius Kiwa Ine Patrick Obayamo, of the Governor of Benin, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. On the occasion of the swearing in Edo State. Flowing from there, therefore, I wish to designate, and each of them will stand up, not necessarily in order of seniority. Mr. John Osage Inegbedion. Chris Ebare. Mrs. Ewoma. Ojo Omo Orobusa. Honorable Patrick Aguinede. McDonald Obasuke. Blessing Megida. That was done by the House of Assembly will suffice. Therefore, commissioners designate to subscribe to the relevant.
That I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, protect and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, so help me God.
My personal interest to influence my official conduct of
the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that I will abide according to law, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, that I will not apparently or communicate or reveal any person, any matter, and well-being of the people of Nigeria. So help me God.
What is the thing?
Welcome back. Come back. Those who decide shall be told. Come back. Come back.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Please stay back. There will be enough time for back slapping after.
Look at me, look at me.
Mr. Speaker,
They appreciated at 50,000 feet above ordinary people's level. Have meritoriously and retired honorably. He has a portable money and pedicure. And who already have a new baby. The man representing one of the largest Europe, the Boba of Opoji. To retrieve my mandate from the shack. And today, a very senior commissioner in Ogun State, one of the states that is inside and driving the APC to cure Nigeria of political rascality and Nigeria headache. The man whose name was a subject of preliminary objection, whether it was to be addressed as Udubele or Udubela or Udubelu. The Honorable Minister of Education, Ogun State. Honorable, you will be a minister one day. First, let me apologize for the sudden change of time, because I had scheduled this activity initially for 11 and then for 3, and now we got started at about 4, I believe. This is because, as you would have noticed, we had a very important guest from Abuja, the Honorable Minister of Aviation, and I had accepted the invitation to commission the remodeled Benin Airport. And I thought that being a guest coming from Abuja, we give the guest priorities. We at home can always sort out ourselves. So I apologize to all of you who have been waiting this morning, but in particular to those who have come as family members, as well-wishers, as friends, and even as loyal party leaders, to be part of today's formal swearing-in ceremony. I apologize to you. And on a serious note, I recognize that this all does not befit this sort of activity anymore. And I do believe that if you come on board, you will help me to translate into practice the promise I have just made, that the next swearing-in ceremony by my successor will be in a hall much bigger, much better than this. We will have to share the task of translating that into a reality. But allow me to congratulate each and every one of you for your well-deserved appointment as commissioners in this government. Let me first and foremost appreciate those who are returning. You notice for those who are coming back, I said welcome back. And for the new ones, I said welcome on board. Let me use this opportunity to say that in reappointing the ones that have been reappointed, I take into account the fact that all the praises that have been showered on me and the Deputy Governor for the changes that we have brought about in Edo State, whether it is in the area of infrastructure, the social sector. It is the result of our collective efforts. One tree cannot make the forest. In acknowledging the fact that I won the last election in each of the 18 local government areas, which has translated to 18/18, that was a vote of confidence on the team that has superintended over Edo State over the past 4 years. And you were at the heart, part and parcel, co-drivers of those changes. I've had the opportunity to say that I feel lucky that I appropriate our collective goodwill, because in truth, you all work so hard. On occasion, we were at work for almost 22.5 hours non-stop just to get Edo going, and nobody complained. I also know that sometimes when I want this done and it wasn't done as quickly as I wanted, I do not have the gift of soft words to complain. I am harsh and impatient, and sometimes a little aggressive, in part because of my size. But you know that you have tolerated me and you work with me as if you didn't mind. I know that some of the things I've had to say sometimes, I could do better. I could choose my words more carefully. But I thank all of you for not finding fault and putting that behind you. And together we got on with the job, and we have gotten Edo to where it is. And with you, I believe we will take Edo to the next level. Your reappointment is simply a small way to say we appreciated your contribution, and that I have confidence that with you, I will have old colleagues with whom we can drive the changes that lies ahead. I also have the privilege now to swear in new faces on the council. They are also men and women who I believe are no longer strangers to me. I've been working with them either within the party or outside the party. And people who I know share the same level of passion and concern that Edo must benefit from good governance, and that together we are determined to manage the resources of this state in a way that our people will continue to get value, and that the mandate that we have been given will be justified by the way in which we will approach our work and the creative manner in which we will apply our resources. So as I congratulate you and welcome you aboard, I also want to warn that by my nature, I want this done. I always tell our people that I am a contract staff. You can call me His Excellency, but I know you will say that after the next few years. You can call me executive this, executive that, but the truth of the matter is I am a contract staff. No matter how well I perform, I have only 8 years maximum. And just now, I have less than 4 years. Precisely about 3 years and 7 months, or 8 months. I believe 3 years and 8 months is not a long time. And there is so much fire in my heart that we must discharge and work much harder to justify the unprecedented level of confidence that the people have expressed in our ability. Every local government expects that its vote will be rewarded by development. Every community, every hamlet, every ward must feel the presence of a government that works and a government that cares and one that appreciates that the people are the master and those in government are the stewards. And so I believe that in accepting your appointment, you have adjusted your mind to this fact, and I can count on you such that together we will deliver in our task of taking Edo State to the next level. To our women, I must confess You have seen only 2 women today. But we are going to invite more commissioners on board. And any new commissioner must be a woman. So that at the end of the day, we certainly should have more commissioners in the cabinet than you have seen today. More women, that is correct. Because really, the Edo woman has stood by us. Both as party leaders, as party cadre, as polling agents, and much more importantly, as voters. If we have accurate statistics, I believe for every 100 votes, women accounted for almost 60 or 65%. Unfortunately, at the level of appointments, we are not able to reflect this balance in terms of gender composition of this cabinet. But what I do promise the Edo women is that this government will address those things that will make life much more abundant for the average Edo woman, whether in the rural or in the urban areas. If we deliver on more water supply to more communities and save our women the trouble of going to the stream to fetch water that is not drinkable, if we construct good schools such that women can take their children to quality schools, irrespective of their economic circumstances, we will have recognized the contribution of women. If we sustain and deliver on our commitment to provide not just free maternity care, but one that is of quality and reliable, we will pay part of our debt to the Edo woman. If we translate in terms of quality our commitment to deliver free health care to children under 5, the Edo woman will express some relief. If we sustain our campaign on immunization in order to avoid the incident of polio in Edo State, we will have addressed some of the basic concerns of the Nigerian woman. So I want to assure our women that this government is indebted to them, and by our actions, our choice of programs, and our style of governance, we tend to try to settle some of those debts, even as we are not able to reflect it in the composition of the council. But to all of you, let me remind you that Edo people expect us to do even better. We have passed through the learning curve. We can't claim not to know the environment. We are no longer stranger to the people. We are familiar with the process and the procedures of government, and therefore the level of efficiency should be much, much higher. You all have subscribed to oath of office, and it's always interesting when people rehearse those things, even as they put their hand on the Bible, that you will not divulge some of the things that become known to you by reasons of your being a commissioner in government. But the truth is, in sometimes this is not observed. Just a moment ago, some of the things the deputy governor got to know by reasons of my being a governor, he being a deputy, and how I planned with him to sack somebody, I discovered that he revealed it to the person. Even before me, he forgot that he subscribed to oath of office. And when he said he'll be lawyer, I revealed something about the guest house. And then he was doing as if, because I forgot that the wife was here. And he was more or less feeling uneasy. Now, these are a clear breach of the oath of office. You know, this is the era of transparency. Madam, just continue to manage him. Management is the word. And let me conclude by also saying on a lighter note. You know, I mentioned that there was a day we worked 22 hours, 22 and a half. From 9 a.m. we started the meeting and we ended at about 7. That's about 22 hours. Some of the commissioners had their spouses called in to ask what is happening. And they make sure that they speak loud that we are still at council meeting. You can even hear the voice of the government. But this happened only once. But I later discovered that some of the commissioners, even when we close by 4 p.m., and the deputy governor is a stickler for time, for example, he made sure he closes here at 4. But Madam Doe told me that he got home at 6:30, 7 o'clock. So, these things happen sometimes. So, my advice to your spouse who are here, if your commissioner, if your husband or your wife is not home at 4 or 4:15, and he says he was in a meeting, even before he says in the meeting, just call me and say, comrade, I'm just calling to say hello. And I will tell you, I myself, I'm already home. I hope your husband is home as well. I have to say this because I found that in government, the governor's name is used for everything. Somebody doesn't get nomination is the governor. Those who get nomination, they tag their party leaders. Those who don't get, the governor is blamed. So that is the way it works. But I accept that is part of the challenge of leadership. For this aspect, don't take me too seriously. Because even in government, as serious as it is, at this sometimes there is space for a little humor. So that we are not, we don't get our blood pressure too high. People like Maliki think that you have to be a professional comedian to cause people to relax. We cause you to relax without having you to pay for it. More like FX and Co. So let me once again congratulate all of you for accepting to make all those sacrifices that this job entails, including the fact that although the pay is very small, but those outside think that everybody in government is swimming in wealth and money. That is not the case in Edo. I want to appreciate all of you who have come to witness this ceremony, and I assure you, commissioners, of my full cooperation, and together with you, I ask God to guide us, to bless us, and to give us the courage to do what we have to do. Courage is extremely important in the second phase. We must be able to say no when we need to say no, and yes when we need to say yes. The challenge of urban renewal requires that we take tough, difficult but necessary decisions. And I have no doubt that you are all ready to join to play your part, so that together we shall take Edo State to the next level. Thank you and congratulations.
May I be permitted to rest on existing protocol, because before I am fine. I've done so, sir. Mr. Governor, sir, it's very difficult to stand before somebody you regard as your leader, your teacher, and a mentor to speak. But the task has been given to me by my colleagues and members of the class of 2013. Mr. Governor, I want to thank you. But before that, I want to give thanks to God for making today possible for all of us. Mr. Governor, on behalf of my colleagues and myself, We want to assure you that we are aware of the challenges of bringing electoral promises to fruition. Many of us, like you mentioned, have been with you for some time. And if we say we don't know and we are not familiar with the challenges of working with you, we will not be telling the truth. And having accepted this appointment, I have the permission of my colleagues to assure you that we are prepared and fit, and we are able to help and assist in bringing your electoral promises to fruition, so that at the end of your tenure, the people of Edo State, we have nothing else but praises for you at the end of the tenure. It is our prayer and the good Lord that have kept you for all of us, for the state, for this country, to continue to guide you and protect you. Thank you, sir, Mr. Lord.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Where are we?